guys, I'm Yashvardhan Marda. Today I will be talking about simple harmonic motion or SHM. A particle is said to execute simple harmonic motion whenever it moves to and fro about its main position under the action of a restoring force such that the restoring force is directly proportional to the displacement and both the restoring force and displacement act in the opposite directions. Now let us understand what this actually means. Suppose this is a particle and it is executing a simple harmonic motion. This is its main position. This is its, let's say, extreme position 1, and this is the extreme position 2. So when a particle moves in simple harmonic motion, it moves like this, about its main position. So the displacement when it moves from, let's say mean is m, when it moves from m to E1, the displacement is in this direction. But the restoring force will always act towards the mean position. This is the F restoring force. So from this we get it, and both are the F restoring force is directly proportional to the displacement. So basically F, this displacement we can represent as x. So basically F is directly proportional to x and both act in opposite directions. So when we introduce a constant, it becomes F is equal to minus kx. Now let us understand the differential equation for a particle to execute SHM. So from the previous, I just told you that F is always equal to, in case of SHM, minus kx. We know that F is equal to ma, ma is equal to minus kx, and acceleration is actually the second derivative of displacement with respect to time. So this is m d square x upon dt square is equal to minus kx. We can introduce another term omega here, and omega is, we can let omega is equal to under root k by m. So omega square will be k upon m. So from this we get that d square x upon dt square is equal to minus k upon m x. I'm writing here now. So d square x upon dt square is equal to, so omega square is k upon m, so this will be minus omega square x. So the differential equation becomes d square x upon dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. So any particle that executes SHM should satisfy this differential equation. Now let us see the time period of a particle executing SHM, the formula for its time period. So we know that omega is equal to 2 pi upon capital T. This capital T is the time period, so T becomes 2 pi upon omega. This is the time period, and omega, we just let omega is equal to under root k by m. So time period becomes 2 pi under root m upon k. When you send omega upwards, it becomes under root m by k. So this is the time period of a particle executing SHM. Now let us say we have a function of sine and cos both. So it's like a sine x of t is equal to a sine omega t plus b cos omega t. Now we need to prove that this function actually represents the simple harmonic motion. So again, to prove that it represents simple harmonic motion, we just saw the differential equation being d square x by dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. So we take the first derivative first of x with respect to time, then take the second derivative, and you will see that we will get this equation. So let us take the first derivative. Dx by dt will become, taking this derivative, it will become a omega cos omega t plus, sorry, this will become minus because cos derivative is minus sine, so minus b omega sine omega t. Now we take the second derivative. So again, differentiating this with respect to time, we will get a omega square minus a omega square sine omega t minus b omega square cos omega t. So this will become, we can take minus omega square as common, this will become a sin omega t plus b cos omega t. And this in fact is our x of t. You can see x of t is a sin omega t plus b cos omega t. So this will become minus omega square x. So d square x by dt square is this, that means d square x upon dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. So we can see that the differential equation for SHM has come. That means a particle with this harmonic function a sin omega t plus b cos omega t will definitely execute simple harmonic motion. What if we were to calculate its amplitude of this harmonic function only? So let us see how we do that. So we can say that let the small a is equal to capital A cos phi and the small b equal to capital A sin phi. So our new x of t becomes, this will become as a will be replaced by a cos phi sin omega t plus b will be replaced by a sin phi cos omega t. So when we take a as common, we get sin omega t cos phi plus cos omega t sin phi. This is actually sin a cos b plus cos a sin b, which will become sin a plus b. So this is sin of brackets omega t plus phi. Now this is the amplitude, the capital A here is the amplitude. So now let us square and add both of these equations, the 1 and 2. So I am doing that here. When we square and add 1 and 2, we will get a square plus b square is equal to capital A square sin square phi plus cos square phi. Sin square phi plus cos square phi is 1. So our a will become the root of a square plus b square. This will be the amplitude. And if we were to calculate phi, we can just divide both these equations. So when we divide 2 and 1, we will get b by a is equal to a gets cancelled and sin phi by cos phi is nothing but tan phi. So phi becomes tan inverse of b by a. Now let us see the velocity of a particle, the expression for the velocity of a particle. We can say that the displacement is x is equal to a cos omega t. So velocity is nothing but the first derivative of the it is nothing but the derivative of x with respect to t. So velocity is dx upon dt, which is equal to minus a omega sin omega t. This is the velocity minus a omega sin omega t. We can write this as minus a omega. We know that sin square a plus cos square a is 1. I'll just write it. Sin square omega t plus cos square omega t is 1. So sin square omega t is 1 minus cos square omega t, and sin omega t is the root of 1 minus cos square omega t. So we can replace sin omega t with this. So we will get the root of 1 minus cos square omega t. Now cos square omega t, when we square this, it will become x square by a square. So this is x square by a square. A here is the amplitude. Minus a omega. When we take the LCM, we get a square, and this is a square minus x square. This is the velocity. So velocity becomes minus a omega. From a, we can take a outside. This is a square minus x square. So this is velocity is equal to we can just for now we can just leave the minus sign. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll just yeah. So this is actually plus minus omega under root a square minus x square. This is not minus omega or just plus. This can be both plus minus. If we change our displacement towards a sine omega t, we will get plus, and a cos omega t we have gotten minus. So it can be both plus minus omega under root a square minus x square. But for calculations, we generally use the plus sign. We neglect the minus sign. So this is the expression for the velocity of a particle executing SHM. Now let us understand the potential energy and the kinetic energy as well as the total energy of a particle executing SHM. Okay, we need to calculate the expression for U. So we know that F is equal to minus kx, and we also know that work is nothing but dw is nothing, this is a small work done, is nothing but f dx. So now we can see dw is equal to, just leave the minus sign here for the derivation, we are leaving the minus sign. So this is kx dx. Now when we integrate this, we get w is equal to, k is a constant, integration of x dx, w is equal to k x square by 2. So this is nothing but half k x square, and since we know that all the work done gets converted into the potential energy, so work is actually equal to the potential energy only, which is half k x square. Now for the kinetic energy, we know that kinetic energy Ke is equal to half mv square, and we also know that let's suppose we take x is equal to a cos omega t, so we take v as minus a omega sine omega t. We just take the differentiation, derivative of x with respect to t. So from here we get f half m, v whole square will become a square omega square sine square omega t. So this becomes half m omega square a square sine square omega t, and we know that omega we have taken as under root k by m. So omega square is equal to k by m, that means k is equal to m omega square. So we can replace m omega square with k, so we will get half k a square, and sine square omega t can be written as 1 minus cos square omega t. This is half k a square, and in brackets we get 1 minus, and cos square omega t will be x square by a square. So this becomes half k a square. We take the LCM, we get a square minus x square over a square. So the kinetic energy, the formula becomes half k brackets a square minus x square. So total energy is nothing but the sum of the potential energy and the kinetic energy. Potential energy is half k x square and kinetic energy is half k a square minus x square. This is half k x square plus half k a square minus half k x square. This gets cancelled, so total energy will become nothing but half k a square. One thing to note is that total energy will always remain constant, it will not change. So we have gotten total energy as half k a square. So this is with respect to x we have gotten. X is the displacement. So when we draw the graph with respect to the displacement, this is energy and this is x. X is the displacement. Let's say this is minus a and this is plus a. This is the maximum values of x which we can get Suppose a particle is executing SHM. This is the plus extreme position, this is the minus extreme position. We call this as plus A, this we call this as minus A. So now the potential energy will always be highest at minus A and plus A. So at these 2 points the potential energy will be the highest, and this is x is equal to 0. See, if we put x is equal to 0, we get potential energy as 0. So when we draw the graph, it will become an open parabola like this. This is the graph for the potential energy, and it will be 0 at x is equal to 0. On the other hand, for kinetic energy, it will be just the opposite. It will be like this. Kinetic energy will be, so if we put x as plus a, suppose, so this will, x square will become a square, and a square minus a square will get cancelled. So kinetic energy should become 0 at plus a and minus a both. On the other hand, if we put x is equal to a here, x is equal to 0, sorry, so we get half k a square. This is the maximum value for the kinetic energy. So this graph is for the potential energy, and this graph is for the kinetic energy, and the total energy will always remain constant. So it will just be a straight line. This is the total energy. And this graph is energy with respect to x. Now let us suppose if we were to draw the graph of energy with respect to time. Now how will we do that? Because we don't have an expression for time here. We just have an expression for x. So we can say that we know that x is equal to a cos omega t. So just substitute x here. We get u is equal to half k a square cos square omega t. The kinetic energy is equal to half k brackets a square minus x square is a square cos square omega t. This is half k a square 1 minus cos square omega t. This is half k a square. You know that sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos square theta. So this is sine square omega t. This is kinetic energy, and total energy will always remain constant. So with respect to x, this is, now when we, I'll just write the formulas here. Potential energy with respect to time is half k a square cos square omega t. Kinetic energy is half k a square sine square omega t. You can always replace k by m omega square. So now let us see the graph of energy with respect to time. This is energy, this is time. We know that potential energy, it's a cos square function. So cos square function will always remain in the first quadrant. It will be like this. This is the graph for the potential energy. Kinetic energy is a sine square function. Sine square function will also be in the first quadrant only. Like this. And the total energy will always remain constant. So potential energy is this. Okay, no, sorry. Potential. This is the kinetic energy, the sine square function. This is kinetic energy. This is kinetic energy. This is potential energy, the cos square function. Kinetic energy is the sine square function, and this right here is the total energy. So this is the graph of energy with respect to time. Now let us see some springs, and we'll understand the dynamics of springs also. So suppose this right here is a spring. It is, let's say, there are two springs attached with a mass m. The force constant of this spring is k1. The force constant of this spring is k2. So basically, this is the series combination. This is the first example of series combination. Another one can be something like this. This is the parallel combination. This is not the series. This is the parallel combination. This is series. This is the parallel. This force constant, let's say, is K1. This is K2. M is the mass. So we know that time period is equal to 2 pi under root m by k. In case of the series combination, what we'll have is that basically that we can say Ks, the equivalent force constant in the series combination, becomes K1 K2 upon K1 plus K2. So the time period is just simply 2 pi under root m by Ks, and we replace Ks by this. So it will be 2 pi under root m upon Ks is K1 K2 over K1 plus K2. This is the time period for series combination, while the equivalent force constant, or Kp, for parallel combination is K1 plus K2. So time period of parallel combination becomes 2 pi under root m by Kp, and this is 2 pi under root m upon K1 plus K2. This is the time period for parallel combination. Let us move on to the last topic, simple pendulum. So a simple pendulum basically looks like this. When it is displaced, it makes, let's say it makes an angle theta. This is, let's say, x, and let's say this is L. Mg will act downwards here. This will be theta. This is theta, so this will also be theta. This is mg cos theta, and this is mg sin theta. So we can see that the restoring force is actually mg sin theta, the force which pulls it back towards its mean position. This is the extreme position. The force which pulls it back towards its main position is actually mg sin theta. So basically the restoring force is mg sin theta. So, and since it is pulling it back towards its mean position, F restoring will actually will be with a negative sign. So it is minus of mg sin theta. And we also know that r theta is equal to L by r. In this case, the L is x and r is the radius, so r is L. Arc upon radius, basically, theta is equal to x upon L. And if, let's say, if theta is very, very small, sin theta is almost equal to theta. So sin theta will always also be, in this case, when theta is small, x upon L. So when we replace sin theta here, we get F is equal to minus mg. Sin theta is x upon L. F is ma is equal to minus mg x upon L. Mm gets cancelled. A is equal to minus g by L x. And we also know that acceleration of a particle executing SHM is minus omega square x. Now how do we know this? We know that d square x by dt square is equal to minus omega square x. This was the differential equation of an SHM, and d square x by dt square is nothing but the acceleration. So A is equal to minus omega square x. Now let us compare both of these. We can see that omega square is actually equal to g by L. So omega will be under root of g by L. So the time period, we know that it is 2 pi upon omega. This will be 2 pi under root L by g. So this is the time period of the simple pendulum. That's all for simple harmonic motion. I hope you all liked the video. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.